Hi guys, and welcome to my first take at an instrument review for this Harley Benton Fanfret-7 TPB Deluxe guitar that I just ordered for Christmas. And before I start with the review and talk about the guitar a bit more, I just wanted to make sure, I just wanted to state that I'm not getting paid by Thomann in any way for this. I didn't receive a discount on this guitar. I just bought it as a regular customer for Christmas. And yeah, I just enjoyed watching these review videos myself when I was kind of trying to choose the guitar that I wanted to buy. And because there are not very much reviews for this 2018 version of the guitar, I thought it might be interesting for some of you to kind of, to see where the differences are and how much instrument you get in the end for €299, which is actually a very cheap price for this guitar. Yeah. Before we start with some sound samples of the guitar, let's just quickly go through the specs of the instrument, and mainly because there are some changes to the 2017 version, which actually fixed some bugs that a lot of reviewers reported last year. And yeah, we start with the body. It's a Basswood body with a maple top and a very nice purple paint job on it. And two humbuckers. They are stated on the website as custom wound. No brand, no anything, but they actually do a pretty solid job for cheap humbuckers that are, in an instrument for €299. How much can the humbuckers be? But they're actually pretty good. Three-way switch, just very simple. Volume knob, a tone knob, actually everything you need, not too complicated. I would have to say I would like a push and pull putty to split the humbuckers to single coils. Maybe upgrading this later, but this guitar doesn't have it right now. The scale length is, on the upper strings is 648 millimeters to 686 millimeters on the lowest string. And the guitar comes from the factory in standard B tuning, so actually just standard E, with the 7th string being a B string, and with 10 to 59 the Dario strings. But the first thing I did was switch the strings to a set of pyramid guitar strings. So now on the guitar are 10 to 56 actually, which is probably a bit thin. You will be hearing that on the sound samples later on. But yeah, generally it's tuned to B. Obviously, as you see, and as the name of the instrument states, Fanfret, a multi-scale instrument, which I was kind of afraid to try because I have never played a guitar like that. But actually, you don't really notice it while playing. If you look at the instrument, it kind of looks strange, but as soon as you have it in your hands and play it, it actually feels like a normal guitar, all in all. And yeah, since we're on the neck, it's a 5-piece. As you see, 5-piece maple neck with a Roseacer fretboard. I don't really know what Roseacer is. I only know Rosewood. I would guess it's kind of a cheaper version of Rosewood, which actually does a great job. No problem with the neck. Actually, a very solid fret job on this thing. These are medium jumbo frets. Very nice fret job, as I said. String action is perfectly set up when I got the guitar, plays like a charm. Neck is a C shape, actually. I don't know if you can see that. I can try to get some close-ups for that. It's a C shape. It's not probably the neck that people that usually play Ibanez guitars or something like that will kind of like, but actually I like a bit thicker neck, just kind of. The instrument feels very heavy, and it has kind of this typical Jan sound, and I guess the thicker neck really fits to that, even though it's a little bit harder on the shredding part of the playing, but it's actually very good. Headstock matching to the body, and and the biggest change probably the tuners, but I'll get to that in a few moments when we talk about the changes of the guitar, which are actually pretty subtle towards what they did last year. The main changes being that the humbuckers have been, before, they looked like active pickups. They weren't active in any way, and a lot of people were complaining about the output of the humbuckers. Now they're looking like what they really are, passive pickups, and the output got a little pushed up, I guess, but since I didn't experience pretty big problems with the tracks I've recorded for this video, actually the only thing I had to change on my setup that I normally use with my MG pickup guitars is I had to put up the input volume just a bit, because the output cannot be as big as the output of an active pickup. But besides that, the pickup's actually very, very good, and probably the most interesting change to the 2017 version. And yeah, another one is really, really important and really, really great, I guess, is the change for the tuners. On the last one, there were just regular standard tuners built in, and now they changed them to die-cast locking tuners, which is actually pretty great, and which some reviewers were requesting last year. And yeah, they work like a charm. Really, really great, and the tuners are actually also a little upgrade. They don't work on different tensions anymore, you know, so the feeling of each tuner is actually the same. I might be lucky in that case, because I have heard different reviews that stated that the tuners aren't always perfect, but on this guitar they're really, really good. The guitar stays in tune very, very well, and yeah, just a very nice instrument, nice look, nice feel, and yeah, we're gonna start now with some sound examples, because I guess that's the biggest thing that you're interested in. Yeah, so before we get to the sound samples that I recorded for this video, I just want to let you know what I used for the samples, so that you kind of have a comparison to the sound of it. I actually used solely this guitar, obviously, for a review. I just had a simple programmed drum track to go with it, and you are going to hear on the first sample it's 2 guitars on each side, panned. And on the second example, it's 4 guitars, so 2 guitars right, 2 guitars left, because the part was kind of demanding a little bit of a fatter sound. Yeah, I've used actually all 3 Le Poulin plugins for the amp sim, and I'm going to show you quickly the settings that I used. It's actually a Le 456, which is a modeled Powerball, that I also used for the current Leviathan record that we're just recording, and I mainly didn't change anything. I just kind of tweaked a bit on the EQ, and yeah, that's the settings I ended up with, and that's what you're about to hear. And yeah, it's just kind of a short riff collection that I put together very quickly, just to demonstrate what this guitar is capable of. And let me say one other thing. I said the guitar comes from the factory tuned to B, but I actually, when I got it, I set it up to A, so it's all down, each string down 1 full step. Mainly because we play in D tuning with Leviathan, and I wanted to be able to practice the songs of the band on this guitar too, so I had to drop the 7th string to an A, which actually doesn't work too well with the 56 string that I chose. I'm probably gonna change that. But yeah, it was kind of enough. You're just hearing it with the palm mutes a bit, that it's, the string is just a bit loose, a bit too thin for the tuning. I'll probably change that sooner or later, but yeah, for the examples, it has to be enough now. Please enjoy these few minutes of pure sound of the guitar. now that you've heard it, now that we've talked a bit about the specs, it's probably time to tell you what I think about the guitar, because that's probably the reason why most of you are here on this video right now. And I have to say, as I stated with the sound, I'm pretty impressed by the instrument. I want to start with the few flaws, or the few down points I found at this guitar, which are actually very, very small and don't really kind of mess with the instrument in my point of view. First thing is, though the fret job is actually very, very good, as mostly with pricey instruments like this one, the frets, you know, if you go down the fretboard, the frets are sticking out just a little bit in some spots. It's not everywhere, but you know, here and there one fret might be not really worked into perfectly, and yeah, it doesn't bother you while you're playing actually, but yeah, it just doesn't feel very nice. So yeah, but that's nothing that you can't, with 1 hour of time and a bit of tools, you can just easily fix that, and I will be doing that the next days, just kind of sanding off the edges of the frets here and there. Actually, just a very, very small criticism on this guitar, nothing big. The other one though is a tiny bit bigger, and that's the way the strings go into the tuners. As you see here, actually the strings don't go straight into the tuners. They just, you know, they're just kind of going out of their way a bit to get into the tuners, and that is something that you don't find very often on guitars. Mostly the strings will go straight into the tuners, actually being for a very, very simple reason. If you're tuning the guitar, you know, with this angle, the string just might get caught a bit, so you're turning the tuner, but the string doesn't change its tuning actually. So later on, you know, when you're playing, the string might free itself and get out of tune in that case. I didn't experience that very often with this guitar because the nut is actually crafted very, 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 very well. But yeah, it happened once or twice while I was recording or while I was playing with the guitar. Though overall it stays in tune very, very well, and yeah, just a subtle little downside of it, you know. If they would change the headstock to make the strings go straight into the tuners, that could easily be fixed. A lot of reviewers stated that last year on the version. They didn't change it, so yeah, we have to live with it. It's not a big deal actually, but yeah, that's just one of the criticisms that I got on this guitar. The other one being the three-way switch, which actually, just contrary to the knobs, which are actually very high quality, the three-way switch just kind of feels off. It's actually a very cheap one. Yeah, and I'm going to be replacing it very, very soon. It's not a big deal anyway, you know, don't use it that often, I guess. At least I don't do it. But yeah, it just feels a bit cheap. Could be better, but yeah, that's kind of 10 euro or 12 euro for a new three-way switch, and getting it in there also very easy. If that's the only downside to this guitar, you know, they're not really the biggest problems of all. Yeah, apart from that, I can't really find a real downside. They're just kind of little things here and there. A little paint got on the neck, right here. A little paint got on the neck, which I was able to remove with a bit of sanding. But yeah, nothing really big. And yeah, last but not least, we should talk about the positive things about the instrument, which actually outweigh any glitches I found. Because overall, this is really a great guitar. It's a lot of fun to play. It stays in tune very, very well. It has two built-in humbuckers that actually surprised me the most, because they have a lot of output, have a very defined top end, a very defined low end, and do overall sound very, very good for what they are. And probably the best change they did for the new version is the tuners. I love locking tuners. They also work very, very well. And yeah, overall, it's the look of the instrument. If you're buying a, let's say, Jackson guitar at the same price range, you mostly will get a simple satin black or white finish for the guitar. And yeah, you have to say that this purple maple top really looks a lot better than just a simple black guitar. Yeah, very, very beautiful thing. Yeah, and if you want to try out 7-string guitars or even multi-scale guitars, what was actually my reason to buy the guitar. I wanted to try both multi-scale and 7-string, so I thought, why not, all in one instrument. Yeah, I can really recommend this thing to you. It's just a great guitar. There might be some bad models in between. You have heard that probably if you have watched reviews for Harley Benton. There might be a few instruments in every shipping that just don't match the standards, but in that case, Thomann has a really great return service for that, and they will make sure that you get a proper instrument the next time. I was lucky on the first try. This is actually a really great guitar. It's going to stay with me, and I like playing it so much that I even consider getting a few new pickups for it to just kind of make it sound even better than it does right now. And yeah, generally to my experience, because it's the first 7-string guitar that I ever tried, I can only tell you, try it. It's not like a revelation, a change. It doesn't change all the way you think about guitar playing. But I had my restraints towards 7-string or extended range guitars for quite some time, and never played one. But they're really, you would think it's just another string on there, but because it's a very low string and it just kind of changes the way you play with it, the riffs do change naturally because they're just heavier. And it's very, very interesting, and it has been keeping me busy for 3 days. I've spent probably 8 to 9 hours in just 3 days with only this guitar, besides all other playing. Yeah, and it's a great instrument, a great try, and yeah, plays like a charm. You should try it out yourself. And yeah, if you have any questions, let me know in the comment section. I will try my best to answer everything. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you will subscribe to the channel, because I will be doing some other reviews of my other gear very, very soon, as if you liked the video and if you yeah, enjoyed it. Have a good start into the next year. I hope this goes online still in 2017. And yeah, hope you enjoyed it. Have a good time. Bye bye.